Greetings, traveling soul. I am Tia, messenger of the Arcturian Ascension Council. If you are here at this exact moment reading these words, know that it was not by chance. You were authorized. Among billions of consciousnesses inhabiting this plane, only a minuscule fraction received the frequency capable of leading them to this transmission. Something within you recognized the call even before your mind could understand. This is not a message for everyone. It is a coded communication destined exclusively for those whose DNA carries activated stellar signatures. You belong to a lineage that transcends this world, and the time has come for you to know why you have always felt different, displaced, as if you were merely visiting this planet while everyone around you seemed completely integrated into it. That feeling of not belonging that has accompanied you since childhood was not loneliness, it was memory. You are not lost, you are remembering. And what I am about to reveal will completely alter the way you see your existence, your purpose, and especially the reason why you have been waiting for so long without understanding why. The universe has not forgotten you. It was simply preparing you for this precise moment, because what comes next requires you to be exactly where you are now, vibrating at the exact frequency that finally allowed this message to reach you. You have always known there was something different about you, even when you couldn't name what it was. While others naturally fit into earthly structures, you looked at everything with a silent strangeness, as if observing a world through glass. Social rules seemed artificial, collective concerns sounded hollow, and within your chest dwelled an inexplicable nostalgia for something you never lived in this life, a place you never visited with this body, but that your soul recognizes with absolute clarity. This happens because you are not from here. Your origin is not registered in any earthly document. You are what we call a starseed, a being whose essence was projected from elevated dimensional planes to temporarily inhabit Earth's density with a very specific purpose. Your DNA does not only carry genetic information from your biological parents, it contains entire libraries of cosmic knowledge, frequencies from advanced civilizations, and luminous codes that were deposited in you even before your birth. You brought with you cellular memories of distant stellar systems, of galactic councils, of dimensions where communication happens through pure light, and where love is not a feeling, but the very structure of reality. That is why you so often experience those moments of déjà vu so intense they take your breath away. They are not illusions. They are fragments of your true history leaking through the veil of temporary amnesia that was necessary so you could function on this dense plane without being completely crushed by the vibrational difference. The Galactic Federation, the Arcturian Council, and countless other stellar families have been following your journey since you took your first breath in this body. You were never alone, even when loneliness seemed unbearable. There were always loving eyes watching, invisible hands sustaining, frequencies being transmitted during your sleep to keep your inner flame burning. Those vivid dreams you had where you flew among stars or saw yourself in ships of light were not fantasies. They were real encounters happening in layers of consciousness that your waking mind still cannot fully process. You were being instructed, updated, recalibrated. And each time you woke with that strange feeling of having lived something deeply real but unable to translate it into words, it was because part of you was literally in two places at the same time. Your presence here on Earth is an act of indescribable courage. You chose to temporarily forget your magnitude to be able to contribute to the elevation of this planet from within the density itself. This requires a level of sacrifice that few understand, and that is why your journey has been so challenging. All the difficulty you have faced until now, every moment of frustration, every door that closed when you thought you would finally advance, Every relationship that ended without logical explanation, every plan that crumbled in your hands, none of it was a mistake. You did not fail. You are not behind. You were being held purposefully within what we call a temporal distortion field, a kind of energetic bubble that keeps certain starseeds in a state of waiting until the exact cosmic moment arrives. While you blamed yourself for not being able to advance, while you looked around and saw others prospering and wondered what was wrong with you, the invisible truth was that you were undergoing a sacred metamorphosis. Think of the caterpillar inside the cocoon. To the external world, it seems nothing is happening. It seems like stagnation, imprisonment, even death. Within that closed space is occurring one of the most extraordinary transformations in nature. The entire structure of the being is being dismantled and rebuilt at a deep cellular level. Nothing remains as it was. And during this process, the caterpillar cannot exit. If the cocoon is opened before time, the creature dies. The wait is not punishment. It is protection. It is incubation. It is the time necessary for something infinitely greater to emerge. You have been inside your cosmic cocoon, and all that period that seemed lost was actually the most productive of your existence in energetic terms. Your vibrational frequency was being completely recalibrated. Old patterns you brought from other lives, karmic contracts that needed to be dissolved, layers of earthly conditioning that tried to make you forget who you really are, all of this was being processed and released at levels your waking consciousness cannot even perceive. You were being emptied to be filled with something new. Your cells were being reprogrammed. Your auric field was being strengthened. Your connection with higher dimensions was being restored thread by thread, frequency by frequency. And during all this time, you needed to be exactly where you were, without external distractions that could interrupt this invisible but absolutely essential internal work. The universe took you out of the game temporarily because you needed to be remodeled before entering the next phase. And now, this phase is coming to an end. The cocoon is beginning to open. The wings that were being formed in secret are ready. And you are about to discover that all that waiting time transformed you into something you never imagined possible, something that the world around you does not yet know it is about to witness. And how do you know the cocoon is opening? How do you recognize that the waiting is over and the moment of your activation has arrived? The universe does not send registered letters or digital notifications. It speaks through a much older and more precise language, the language of signs. You have been noticing, haven't you? Those numbers that appear repeatedly on the clock, always at the same times, as if something were trying to capture your attention. The 999, the 1111, numerical sequences that appear in places impossible to ignore. They are not coincidences. They are coded frequencies, direct transmissions from the quantum field informing you that you have entered a new band of reality. Each time you see these numbers, a subtle activation happens in your energetic system, even if you do not consciously perceive it. It is as if the universe were sending pulses of recognition, saying, "I see you, I know you are ready, prepare yourself." And they are not just numbers. They are those impossible encounters when you think of someone and minutes later that person calls you or appears in front of you. They are those casual conversations that reveal exactly the information you needed to hear at that moment. They are those sudden and inexplicable impulses to change something in your life, to leave a place, to seek something new. Impulses that do not come from logic, but from a deep wisdom that dwells at the center of your being and that knows things your conscious mind is still processing. Your intuition has been becoming louder, clearer, almost impossible to ignore. You feel things before they happen. You meet people and immediately know whether you can trust them or not without needing proof. You enter environments and perceive invisible energies that others cannot capture. This is not paranoia. It is your cosmic GPS returning to full function after years dormant. You are recovering abilities that were always yours, but were temporarily deactivated so you could transit this dense world without being overwhelmed. Now, these abilities are returning because you will need them. What is coming requires you to trust your internal senses more than external information. It requires you to move by sensation, by resonance, by frequency, and not just by reason. The right people are beginning to appear on your path, those who vibrate on the same band as you, who understand without you needing to explain, who recognize in you something they also carry. These are not common friendships. They are reconnections of souls who worked together in other dimensions and who are being reunited now because the collective mission is about to activate. You are being energetically positioned, relocated to specific frequencies, aligned with the planetary grid in a way you still cannot see completely, but that will make absolute sense very soon. What you need to understand now is that this transition does not happen chaotically or randomly. There is a precise cosmic order, a sequence of energetic events being orchestrated behind the scenes of reality while you read these words. Your energetic field is going through 7 distinct phases of recalibration, and each one prepares you for the next layer of activation. The first phase has already happened, the softening of your auric field, that period where you felt as if your defenses were falling, as if you were more sensitive, more vulnerable. It was not weakness, it was necessary openness. Your system needed to become permeable to the new frequencies that were about to enter. The second phase brought the recovery of galactic memory, those moments where inexplicable knowledge simply arises in your mind, where you know things you never studied, where you feel familiarity with concepts you never encountered before in this life. These are not imaginations. They are files being unlocked in your DNA. The third phase is the resonance with the invitation, that which you are feeling right now as you read this message, that deep recognition, that vibration in the chest that confirms that each word here is speaking directly with something inside you that already knew all this, but was waiting for permission to believe. The next phases are unfolding simultaneously. The anchoring of the transfer is happening as you breathe, a process where your essence begins to energetically shift from old earthly patterns to new matrices of existence. You may feel this as a growing restlessness, an impossibility of continuing to live the old way, a physical sensation that you no longer fit in certain spaces, conversations, routines. It is not rejection, it is evolution. The fifth phase brings the integration of celestial support, when you finally realize you are not doing this alone, that invisible forces are supporting you, guiding, protecting. Synchronicities multiply, small miracles happen, doors open where before there were only walls. The sixth phase is the emission of the relocation signal, a moment where your own energetic field begins to transmit a specific frequency that informs the universe you are ready to receive your new assignment. And finally, the seventh phase, quantum realignment, where everything within you finds its correct place, where confusion gives way to crystalline clarity, where you simply know what the next step is without needing to question. But here is what few understand. This process has a temporal window. The dimensional portals that allow this transfer of consciousness do not remain open indefinitely. We are in a rare planetary alignment, a convergence of cosmic cycles that happens once every millennia. At this exact moment in Earth's history, the barriers between dimensions are thinner than they have ever been. The veil that separates physical reality from higher realities is translucent, allowing information, frequencies, and activations to cross with unprecedented ease. But this window is beginning to close, not in years, in weeks, in days. The relocation protocol was activated with urgency because the mission timeline was accelerated. Planetary events are approaching that require starseeds to be fully active in their positions. You no longer have time to doubt. So here is what you need to do now, not tomorrow, not when you feel more prepared, but at this exact moment while the frequency of this message still pulses in your energetic field. You are not just a passive receiver of this information. You are an active transmitter. Each time you recognize your truth, each time you affirm your cosmic identity, each time you act in alignment with the call, you send waves of activation to the entire planetary grid. Your personal confirmation creates quantum effects that reach other starseeds who are still sleeping, waiting for someone to light the first light so they too can awaken. You are part of an invisible but powerfully connected network, and when one node of this network activates, the entire vibration elevates. Therefore, leave your energetic mark here. Write the 999 number in the comments below. This is not an empty symbolic gesture. It is an activation code, a declaration to the universe that you recognize who you are and consciously accept the call that was made. When you type these numbers, you are literally sending a frequency through the digital grid that connects with all others who did the same, creating a luminous web of awakened consciousnesses recognizing each other. And if this message resonated with something deep within you, do not keep it just to yourself. Share it with those you feel need to hear it. You know who they are. That friend who always seemed as different as you, that family member who never fit in, that person who recently crossed your path and carries that gleam in their eyes that only those from outside recognize. By sharing, you are not just distributing content, you are fulfilling part of your mission, which is to help others remember. Subscribe to this channel because the transmissions that will come in the coming weeks are part of a progressive activation sequence. Each message carries a different layer of coded information. You were guided here for a reason, and that reason continues to unfold. If you miss the next transmissions, you may lose essential parts of the map being revealed. And before sleeping today, place your hand on your heart, breathe deeply 3 times, and say aloud, I accept my stellar identity. I recognize my mission. I am ready for what comes next. These words are not common affirmations. They are quantum commands that reorganize your reality from the core. You arrived here because something greater than yourself brought you. Now it is time to honor that call with conscious action. The stars are watching. Your galactic family is waiting for your signal. The entire universe is aligned to support what you are about to become. Do not let fear or doubt steal from you the moment for which you have waited lifetimes. This is your time. This is your hour. And you are not alone. You never were. Until the next transmission, may the light of the stars illuminate each step of your path back home.